Well, I truly hope that this video is of some use to you because obviously what I eat will not apply to everyone. It might not even be enjoyable to you. So I'm going to share what I eat in a day, in a week, in a month, in a year, because obviously it changes. I don't follow a set plan. And I have mentioned that in previous videos. A few of you, enough of you, have requested that I do such a video. And I understand there's a natural curiosity that humans have about other humans. I like to see what other people eat in a day, to be honest. Number one, it changes from day to day, from summer to winter, from week to week. I go through phases, like I'm sure a lot of you do, where sometimes I just want chicken mayonnaise and I'll have it for lunch, I'll make it at home, or I'll go out and have it. In fact, today I've just come back from a lunch out. I was doing some shopping and I have done a 6 kilometer run this morning and I was quite hungry. So I sat down and I had a open chicken mayonnaise sandwich with avo and a cappuccino, a small one. And yes, that is quite filling. I'm full, satisfied. But that's like almost all I've eaten today. I've had one small piece of chicken in the morning, 2 cups of coffee this morning, and that's and my square of Lindt chocolate, which I have pretty much every day. Sometimes when I've been gifted a box of those Lindt balls, oh, I love those. Those are my absolute favorite. The dark, the milk, any in between, I could just die for those. Then I will usually try and sort of slowly meter those out as well and have maybe one a day, one in the morning. I like a little bit of sweetness when I wake up. I don't know why, but I'll have something like a piece of chocolate with my morning coffee. Like I say, usually I have 2 cups of coffee in the morning, especially in winter when it's cold and it's dark when I wake up and you just want to sit in bed and just, oh, it's too cold. So I do that. And then some mornings I eat my Louise weird breakfast. It's so weird that I'm a bit embarrassed and I didn't know if I should share it with you guys, but okay. Well, seeing as I'm open and honest about everything here, I will share. It's my gelatine pudding breakfast. It sounds weird. Bear with me. I love it. No one else in my family does, though. So, gelatine is a cheap and accessible form of collagen. And, you know, the world's gone collagen mad, even though I think how much can it really help? You still see people wrinkly and old. And anyway, but I like the texture of gelatine. And I discovered you can make it with milk or water or whatever, and you can mix a whole lot of things in sweeteners or sugars, cocoa powder. So I make it basically like gelatine, milk, cocoa powder, sweetener, and an egg. So it's high protein. It's got the lactose for carbs, not too many carbs. I put cocoa powder and sweetener, and it makes like a chocolate pudding. And when I don't want carbs in the morning, because some mornings I don't know, I just don't want them, and I don't want too much to eat, I will make that the night before and have that. Sometimes I'll flavor it with an extra teaspoon of peanut butter in there, but I find it delicious. And in summer, because I set it in the fridge, it's cool, it's refreshing. I don't know, there you go. So that's my weird breakfast. Sometimes I'll have oats for breakfast, but I'm not the biggest fan of oats. I don't like cereal per se. I don't know if I just had too much cereal when I was a kid, or I don't know, I'm not a fan of cereal. And I do find oats and breakfast cereals leave me feeling quite hungry by like 10 o'clock. Yeah, it's not my favorite food, but occasionally I will have oats in the morning. I'll usually have them with like one egg actually mixed inside the oats, and again, sweeten it with sweetener or something. Now, the reason I use sweetener is not because I'm afraid of sugar. Clearly, I'm not. I have a lot of baked goods, as you'll see, as you'll hear. But I use sweetener because I do suffer with hypoglycemia, which is an extra strong reaction to sugar, and then your blood sugar crashes afterwards. So in general, I can have sugar when it's like packaged up in a meal where there's fat and protein with it. So a cake, for example, there's a lot of fat there as well to slow down the absorption of the glucose into your bloodstream. But if I have, let's say, a full sugar Coca-Cola, my blood sugar is guaranteed to crash 2 hours later. So I do need to be a little bit careful around sugar. It's just a me thing, I guess. I don't know if any of you guys also have that same problem. So now I've covered like a general breakfast, a general lunch. You know, lunch could be anything for me. If I go out, I could order a chicken salad, I could order a burger, I could order, but mostly I'm at home. I work from home. And so lunch could be leftover supper, it could be a sandwich, it could be a piece of leftover if we've made cake on the weekend, or pudding. That's another favorite breakfast of mine. So recently I made chocolate brownies. These are the best, the best, the best. I will link to that recipe in the description box below. You'll thank me later. Easy to make as well. And for the last few mornings, because I made those chocolate brownies and they are here and available, I've had 1 or 2 of those in the morning, and that's been my breakfast. I mean, you see, I don't stick to any set plan, and I haven't stuck to a set plan for years. When I was competing, though, I had to stick to strict sort of competition diets. And I have found that my mind is very saturated with that way of eating, and it's healthy, there's nothing wrong with it, but it is very restrictive. And so I guess in the last few years, I'm not competing. I have broken out of that and away from that. I still come back to that now and then. Again, that is the diet I've given away for free. I just email it to those who want it, and I've made a whole video on that. I'll link to that in the description box below. So I do sometimes fall back to what I call clean eating, but I don't like it because it is too restrictive. And when you restrict or limit, or at least I find when I restrict or limit, I then have intense cravings for the forbidden foods. So what I'm doing now, and if you followed sort of my journey, you will know that I'm not going to the gym right now, and I'm really trying to not diet at all. What I mean by that is eat when I'm hungry and stop when I'm full. And I know it sounds simple, but for a lot of us, especially those of us who've done bodybuilding competitions, or if you have to get in shape for a dancing show or competition, or anytime you were on a strict diet, it's not actually that easy anymore to just listen to your body's cues, because you've not listened to them in order to follow the diet, and you've had to just be hungry. And I'm okay with being hungry. I'm not afraid of just riding a wave of hunger. I realize that, sometimes you are busy, you can't always eat, and it's okay. You don't have to eat the minute you're hungry. But now what I'm trying to do is just be a lot more natural with my eating. No food is off limits. So suppers in our household now, we've got 2 boys. One is dairy intolerant. Is suppers can be anything: bangers and mash, burgers, fish fingers and chips. We'll always have like a salad or a vegetable. I make sure that we always have some vegetables every evening. Some days I'll have an apple, other days I'll have a banana. This is now as a snack, after lunch, before lunch, whenever I'm hungry. Suppers can be really anything. Sometimes I'll do the healthy suppers, and other suppers we often eat pizzas, spaghetti. I make that with a lean mince just because I don't want to always add in extra fat. Oh, we buy these pre-made like crumbed chicken schnitzels from the supermarket, and we'll have that with oven chips again. Our kids love oven chips, and so we have a lot of oven chips. I love macaroni cheese, and so I make, if I do say so myself, a killer macaroni cheese. In general, in a day, I will have about 4 to 5 cups of coffee. I always end off the day after supper. I have my very favorite, it's the Nomu Skinny Hot Chocolate. I'll make 1 cup of that in the evening. Some days I'll have a cup earlier as well, so I might have 2 cups of that in a day. As you can see, it really depends. In summers, I love those crushed ice blended coffees, as you've seen in some of my other videos when I go for my walks along the beachfront or wherever. I also really, really enjoy a Starbucks Frappuccino. Those are those calorie laden with the whipped cream on top, the blended iced coffees. They're sweet, they are flavorful. I'm sure there's a gazillion calories in there. And so what I find in general, if I have one, is I tend to not eat a whole lunch, So naturally, I do this thing where I make up, if I have a lot of calories there, I'll make up for it by not having as much somewhere else. But now, what I'm wanting to do, like really, really, is just let go, let go, let go of even following in my mind. Have I had that? Have I had that? How much have I had? And I'm trying to let go of the control, because when I was younger, I did lose weight without being on a formal diet, simply by, and I know this sounds wild to some of you who don't know your hunger cues, simply by tuning into my hunger cues and really truly stopping when I was like just on the edge of full. And it takes a while for your fullness or your satiety to kick in. So sometimes if you finish the whole plate, you'll actually be overfull. And I don't like that feeling when I go to bed. I hate going to bed on a really full stomach. I've done that a few times. If you go out to a restaurant and you're indulging, but you actually get indigestion. So one of the things I do, and as a rule, what we do in my household is we eat supper at about 5 o'clock-ish, and then mostly we're in bed by 8 o'clock and asleep by 8, 9. We are early to bed, early to rise people. And in general, we'll eat early. And I personally will eat a fairly small supper. And 9 times out of 10, I don't have anything after supper. Often the boys, we've got 2 teenage boys, and my partner will probably have some ice cream or something after supper. For the most part, I don't. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I do. And this is why I think my what I eat in a day, there is no set thing. It varies wildly. What I can say for sure is I never drink sugared beverages. So I always have the sugar-free ones. And the reason, again, as I said, is because of my hypoglycemia. But I love a cappuccino. So if I go out, sometimes I'll have a pot of tea. I like tea as well, but I do like a cappuccino. Yes, if it's full fat milk, it's heavy in calories, but it's an indulgence. And I do allow myself now and then. And more, the older I get, I'm 45, turning 46, the older I get, the more I'm just like, stuff it. Life is too short. If I weigh 2 kgs more than what I think I should weigh, which is all in my head, that's okay too. Sometimes the extra 2 kgs, 5 kgs, even 10, who cares? If you are just relaxed and just allowing yourself to be natural around food, that might be worth more to you, especially as you get older, than always like being on a diet, counting calories, tracking, and all that. Not to say that tracking or counting calories is bad. There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing inherently wrong with any way you want to manage your weight or if you want to lose weight, but it can get tiresome. It can get burdensome on your mind, and it can lead to a bit of a disordered relationship with food, which is one of the reasons why I was hesitant to make this video. I don't want anyone to follow what I'm doing. Please, please do not eat the way I'm eating. You shouldn't eat what I'm eating. You are a different person. You are a different being. You weigh more or less than me. You might be taller or shorter than me. Your ethnicity might be different. You might be more active or less active. You could be much older than me. You could be younger than me. You could be a different gender to me. I don't know. I don't know where you're at. And the thing is, one of the things this is just again my opinion, I fully believe that every person who wants to take control of their weight, and by that I mean a healthy body weight, not scrawny, it depends, unless that's natural for your body. But if you want to take control of your weight, you need to know yourself. You need to get in touch with your body somehow, some way. You have to take the time out, whether that's through mindful breathing, through exercise, through slowing right down when you eat, which I think is a really good thing. Slow down when you eat. Really acknowledge the food, smell the smells, taste the taste. When you are full and you've had enough, just pause and then just see if you really are full or do you really need another bite or two. And I know it's hard. It's not easy. In the fast-paced world, we just want to go, go, go. And I also know that emotions play a huge part in eating for so many of us. And I tend to stress eat or emotionally eat. So I know what that's like. It's hard not to do it. And also, food is and should be a source of pleasure. I've come to realize for myself at this age, I'm not going to be putting myself on any strict diet anymore. They have their place, and I'm not saying don't go on a strict diet. For me, who's done that for many, many years, I've never been so strict that I couldn't deviate. But when you competing, you have to. You just have to. And I've always enjoyed it until I didn't, which is like now. I've always enjoyed it until I decided I'm just not prepared to do it anymore. I'm too old now. For me now, I want to enjoy every bite and then not deny myself. If I really feel like a piece of cake, that chocolate brownie, I love baked goods, as you can tell. Chocolate mousse, oh, it's another favorite of mine. Cakes, puddings, I love them. And I'm not saying to stuff my face all the time. I'm not saying you should stuff your face with them all the time. I just have a sweet tooth. In fact, Sofia Vergara said it best.
I have an addiction, which is I am addicted to sweets, to sugar. And I have come to terms with it because I have tried many things, even like hypnotism, and it doesn't work. So what I try to do is to keep a balanced, very balanced diet.
So for me, it's just about allowing myself the space to indulge when I really want to. I'm not saying it's healthy, but it is what it is. If I deny myself, I tend to want to binge and just like I could eat that all day long if I haven't had it for weeks. So for me now, it's coming to a very zen place in my eating, I hope. And this is a phase, and I do go through phases. I'll go through phases where I eat more, where I eat less. As I say, I'll go through phases where I eat just a lot of sweets for breakfast, or I'll go through phases where every day for lunch I'm having a chicken mayonnaise sandwich. In fact, when I was breastfeeding, that's all I craved all day long. So, like anything, I do go through phases. I do love vegetables. So, I have been known, my son will tell you, to sit and eat a bowl of broccoli, and that could be my supper. Sometimes it's what I want. I love Brussels sprouts. I love green beans. So, I love a salad. I love all the foods. There pretty much isn't a food I don't like, I think. Bread I tolerate, but maybe I just had too much as a child. I don't know. I'm not a fan of mashed potato. Very, very rarely will I eat fried chips. Again, I'm just not a fan of potato. So naturally, I'm cutting out half the calories in a burger and fries because I don't have the fries and I just don't like them and I don't want them. And that's how I eat. So sorry, what I eat in a day does change. Some days I don't eat that much. Like this morning, I pretty much skipped breakfast because I was so stuffed from yesterday. Yesterday I was at home and I ate a lot. And then on average, I will drink probably 2 to 3 liters of water a day. I don't know. I don't track it. I drink to thirst. I feel like there's too much information with a finger pointing at us saying, you must do this, you must do that, you must eat like this, you must eat like that. And I do feel flexibility around all these things is far healthier of a way to go because you do need to be flexible. What if you do go out for dinner with friends? Well, your body will probably, if you overdid it, probably you won't want to eat that much the next day. But that's if you are relaxed around food, if you're tuned into your body, and if you are not going to freak out because the scale, hopefully you're not weighing yourself every day, but if you are, the scale will go up and down and up and down. And my weight fluctuates wildly on the scale. And I'm thinking of, I don't know if I should do it, maybe I should. I'm thinking of trying to go a full year without weighing myself and seeing, okay, let me do it. I'm going to do a challenge. At the end of this video, here we go. I'm going to end the video with a challenge to myself. Let's see if I can stick to it, though I don't know if I can. To not weigh myself for a full year. As of today, well, I didn't weigh myself the last 3 days, but my recent weight has been about 53.5 kilograms. I'll put that in pounds on the screen. So let's see. Can I go for a full year without weighing myself? As I said, I've quit the gym, so I don't want to do any formal, like, regimented exercise, but today I went for a run. I really felt like it. And I want to see what happens when I just allow my body to be. I know I'm aging, so things are sagging. So in a year's time, I won't be as firm as I am right now recording this. But I want to see what happens if I'd actually let go control. Join me on the experiment, see what happens. I know that this won't apply to all of you. Some of you are disordered with your eating, and some of you maybe need something stricter, more of a diet plan to contain your eating so that you just know what choices to make. Some of you also need a far more regimented exercise plan because you've never done it before. Whereas I've exercised my whole life for the last 14 years. I've been going to gym very, very, very regularly. So I'm at a different point. I need the break. So you may be starting your journey and very excited to diet and exercise and get it all together. Whereas I need to just step away from that for now. And I think we need to allow everyone to be where they are in their journeys. And again, I don't care what you weigh. I really don't. If you weigh 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 100 kgs more than you do now or at a later stage or at any stage, I know it doesn't detract from who you are. Your essence on the inside is what counts. That's why I hesitate to do diet and exercise videos, but I do know we all want advice. We all want to know what works. For sure, I can tell you what works is obviously eating less than you expend. I mean, that is guaranteed. That is a no-brainer. So if there's one takeaway, it is to control what you put in your mouth in terms of either portion control or calorie control. But you can also lose weight without dieting. Maybe in a year's time, I will feel like going back on a strict diet. Who knows? I also don't believe that dieting messes up your metabolism. We were designed to be flexible. We were designed for famine and feast and, winter and summer and all kinds of diet conditions. So I think you've got to just tune in, do what feels right for you. And I know that doesn't really help because some of you don't know what feels right, in which case, try a diet and see where it takes you. I love you all. I will see you in the next video. Bye. Cheers. This is the good life.